say Ashland County is a place where there's something for everyone. If you go to the northern part of the county, it's very flat, it's very agrarian. The further south you go, you start getting into the foothills of the Appalachians.
The billboard out on 71 says it's the world headquarters of nice people. I guess it's what I think of when I think of practicing law in a small town.
Ashland County was established by the state legislature in February 1846.
For the first 7 years of court in Ashland, the Stone Methodist Church served as the courthouse. After that, we built an old courthouse and then the courthouse that we have today. Many towns have their courthouse right on their main street or right in the middle of their town. But we chose 2nd Street because that was right next to where the Stone Methodist Church was. Our old courthouse sat on a piece of property that they called Courthouse Square, and I guess we still call this Courthouse Square. But it was definitely the place where if something was going to happen in Ashland, that's where people showed up. One other interesting thing about our courthouse is that it was the place of public hangings. The last one that happened here was the Horn Gribben hanging. And these two gentlemen were accused of murdering someone in kind of a drunken stupor. And they were convicted of this murder and they were sentenced to hang.
It would have been in the old courthouse. It was 1884. They actually did the hanging here on the grounds.
Tickets were given out to attend the hanging, which was common back in the day.
A select 150 people got to sit in and watch, which enraged the 8,000 people that showed up.
The crowd got quite rowdy. They tore down the gates to where the hanging was going to be.
And the National Guard was here, and sheriffs from other counties were here to help, and ultimately it proceeded. But yeah, it was quite the ordeal.
It was the last public hanging in the state of Ohio, and after that event happened, the state legislature passed a law that said in the future, all punishments for capital crimes had to take place at the penitentiary in Columbus, Ohio.
40 years after Ohio's last public hanging, Ashland County faced another change. Their aging courthouse was no longer sufficient, and the community had to decide, renovate or build new.
A lot of people in Ashland loved that courthouse, and they really didn't want to see it demolished. But the commissioners had determined that the amount of money that they would need to spend on refurbishing the old courthouse would exceed the amount that it would cost to build a new one.
This courthouse was dedicated in 1929. It was built on the same foundation as the previous courthouse.
They did preserve a few pieces of the old courthouse. They took the bell out of the old courthouse, and the bell now sits out here on the lawn. That bell was rung when President Lincoln was assassinated. The bell was rung at the end of World War I. There are stories of back in the 40s when Ashland High School would win a football game or they would win a basketball game, students would come over and ring that courthouse bell in honor of winning one of their games. I don't know if you can still ring it today.
In the judge's chambers here, we do have a Bible that goes back into the 1800s. This was Judge Osborne's Bible, and he was on the bench from 1866 to, I believe, 1872. His family presented it to the court in the 1920s, and each outgoing judge writes a small paragraph as they leave for the next judge, which is a pretty neat artifact.
With the Bible passed down from the old courthouse and the new building rising on the same foundation, the values and craftsmanship endure as a lasting legacy.
One of the big differences of this courthouse and other courthouses is its more modern architecture than you see in some other cities. We don't have a belfry, we don't have a bell tower, we don't have a lot of those things, but yet when you look at the building from the front, I think what we have here is very beautiful. When you get on the inside of it and you look at at the woodwork, when you look at the chandeliers, when you look at the beautiful marble floors, I think it's a very majestic and stately building.
Beyond its architectural splendor, the Ashland Courthouse has witnessed its fair share of notable cases. One such case involved Louis Bromfield, local Pulitzer Prize-winning author and a boxer who stood accused of killing a local farmer's sheep.
In the 1940s, there was an interesting court case here in the court where someone had accused some boxer dogs of killing their sheep. Now, Louis Brumfield, who was a famous author, lived very near here. He lived at a place called Malabar Farm and felt very strongly about boxer dogs. And he felt that there was no way that these dogs could have killed these sheep. So on the day of the trial, he showed up as a witness for the dogs. He got up and he testified that there's no way boxer dogs could kill these sheep because their snouts are too short to be able to get a hold of a sheep's neck and actually kill the sheep. They brought 4 boxer dogs into the courtroom and they asked the sole witness of this crime to identify the dog that killed the sheep, but he could not identify any of the dogs. So the case was dismissed, and Louis Brumfield felt very vindicated for being able to clear the name of his favorite type of a dog, which was a boxer.
This trial, like many others, showcases the courthouse as a place of justice and a gathering spot for the community. For nearly a century, it has served as the heart of Ashland County, where important civic business is conducted.
It just gives you the small town court feel, I think, that from the minute you walk in the door. And you can come in here and get a title for your car. You can come in here and record a deed or pay your real estate taxes. People refer to it as the courthouse, but they know it is much more than that. It's the center of the county as far as conducting the important business of the county. It's been here for 100 years. It's seen a lot of cases come through here. I think everybody that works here, they really care about Ashland County. They really want to do the best job for its citizens.
I think that we've done a wonderful job of preserving the way that it looked when it was first opened. The beauty of this building, the events that have happened here over the years, all are part of the fabric of what makes us who we are, what we are, as not only citizens of Ashland County or citizens of the state of Ohio, but citizens of the United States and the world.